Coming up right now, it's becoming a dangerous travel trend. Tourists chasing wild animals. Wait till you see how this one ends.
Also coming up, some would consider this the perfect place to live. I mean, a wine river, come on. We're going to tell you the where and the why.
And a little bit later, it's a PSA many guys don't want to hear because it involves, well, their swimmers.
Oh my, Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
I am Mitch English, welcoming you to Daily Flash. We got a great show set up for you today. We're going to jump into the roundtable talking about father's rights, and a big celebrity come out and saying he didn't know who his dad was. It might freak you out when you hear the whole story.
You and I talk about plane travel and how it used to be a time where you could dress up and look sharp and get on the plane and travel big, right?
I cannot stand seeing people sometimes on the plane.
Things are changing in the U.S. Senate.
Oh, really?
You used to have to come in wearing a suit and tie. You were not allowed on the Senate floor without a suit and tie. If you showed up, if you showed up in anything other than, and you were a senator, you had to stand in the back, even if you were there to cast a vote. Senator Chuck Schumer, who's the Senate Majority Leader, has just made this change in the rule because there is one guy, Senator John Fetterman from Pennsylvania, who dresses like a slob. He wears shorts and hoodies because he wants to be comfortable. So they are changing this 200-year-old plus rule at the Senate to accommodate one guy. Political slobbery is what we're calling it.
Well, then perfect name for it.
Yes.
I think there's something about when you dress, how you act, and how you, and decorum.
Yes.
I want my senator or somebody representing me to be somebody I can, like, hey, I like that. I understand their style, but it's kind of like, are you respecting the building or the office that you're in? I totally think that he's not.
So we've got another lawmaker saying, okay, fine, I'm going to show up in a bikini. You know, it's like, come on. And you're right. I think you act different when you dress a certain way. And I think when it comes to some older traditions, like dressing up when you're going to work at the Senate as a U.S. representative, you should actually wear a suit and tie. I get it. I understand the like common man image he tries to portray, but I think that there are certain rules for a reason.
And changing it for one person, too. That's a big deal. All right.
Mitch McConnell in a bikini.
You don't?
No?
One time, Matt, I would
Mitch
love
McConnell in a bikini. That's horrible.
Actually, wouldn't. He'd be like this the whole time. It'd be great for posing.
Yeah.
One of those.
He and Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, one of those looks. Remember when he
Frozen.
did that? Yeah, Frozen. All right.
Good time.
Here's some other absolutely insane things happening. A group of tourists in Yellowstone was spotted exiting their cars, jumping out, and sprinting towards a mama bear and her two cubs. One of the tourists, get this, we're going to show you the video too if you don't believe it, had a child in his arms. Thankfully, the mama bear and her cubs seemed to be startled by the little mini mob, quickly ran away from the traffic. Look at this guy. He's got his kid with him.
You're nuts.
You have no idea what these bears can do. By the way, bears can run up to like 20, 30 miles per hour. They are fast animals.
And a mama bear with her cubs?
They're going to protect it.
Boy.
That's where the term comes from, mama bear. Tourists are actually putting themselves in the life-threatening situations, and it's becoming more and more common. And what are they thinking they're going to get from this? What are they going to do? A better shot? We have cameras that are
you know what
lenses.
they want to get? They want to get a picture or a video to post to social media that will possibly go viral.
Yeah, and it's not a good. I mean, what if that bear had turned on him?
No.
I mean, and then we would say, do you feel sorry for him? I mean, I'd feel sorry for the little girl.
Of course, but then of course the bear.
And they'll wind up killing the bear.
Yeah, they'll kill the bear because the bear turned to protect its cubs while
he was
the
being
family.
a bear. Right?
I know, right? Exactly. Yeah. I know, bear being a bear.
Bear being a bear.
Well, welcome to Europe where the wine flows like water. A local winemaker unleashed 600,000 gallons of red wine into the streets of a town in Portugal just by mistake. The wine flowed down a steep hill after two massive distillery tanks burst. Can you believe this is like a flood of wine? Locals were baffled as they watched what looked like rivers of wine flowing through their streets. We are told the amount of wine could have filled an Olympic-sized swimming pool, causing an environmental alert involving a nearby river. Thankfully, the local fire department was able to block it off and divert the vino before it ended up in a nearby wastewater treatment plant.
Red wine goes with fish, right? Or is that white wine?
White wine.
Oh, that's why. That's a hazard. Now I know.
Yes,
Okay.
red wine with steak.
Exactly. I would be out there at least with some boxes, the there was some stay-at-home like soccer moms like,
Exactly.
You just see some wino out there looking like, one of the whales open their mouth to get it just
on the cartoon.
and it's just going through them.
Right. All right, we got a PSA for you dudes out there. Scientists are claiming vaping, look at me, all right. It actually could lower your sperm count, zap your libido, and cause shrinkage.
Ooh.
If you want to get something, you go there after guys. Experts from Turkey tested what effect exposure to smoke from e-cigarettes and normal cigarettes had on sexual habits of lab rats, because we love having sex with lab rats. Nicotine,
No, you don't.
I know we don't, not anymore. Nicotine has long been tied to infertility as well as disrupting sexual function. Experts say that more research needs to be done with those rats, and they're perverts. Anyway, right now they're done on road. Tell me, is there any good that comes out of this? Smoking, it seems like, there has been a push where people are smoking cigarettes less, but picking up the vape pen.
Right.
And some say there's chemicals inside there, and it's not filtered that much. I don't know too much about it.
Yeah.
But I know that it just has as many chemicals in it that maybe a cigarette might.
Way back before COVID hit, there was this huge push to get rid of e-cigarettes
you're
and
right,
vaping.
yeah.
I don't know if we can recall that moment in time before we all sort of freaked out for a solid 2 years. But, they were talking about a lot of chemicals and a lot of these bootleg cartridges that they were selling that seemed to mimic something else. So these kids were getting a hold of a lot of the bootleg stuff that had really harsh chemicals in
Like
them.
a pumpkin spice thing. And then also, too, it seems like the vaping, you try to get the bigger smoke out. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, look at me,
They had contraptions for them that were like, they were huge. They were the size of a cigarette pack that these guys would walk around with. It was horrible.
How about rolling up to a car and somebody's vaping and you can smell
just
like
see
the
it coming
cherry
out.
flavored tobacco
Yeah.
flowing into your car? That drives me
Hot
nuts.
box.
Yeah.
Sticks. Hot.
Britney Spears must be doing good when it comes to money because she's been steering clear of social media deals despite a big payday for a few Instagram posts. Several companies have contacted Britney's reps asking if she would promote their products online, but Britney has turned down most of these big money offers. And to be fair, the companies really wanted more than just a post. They wanted a photo shoot, they wanted video of her pitching the product, and there is big money to be made as an influencer. Gwyneth Paltrow gets around $100,000 for a single Insta post promoting products, and Kim Kardashian, well, she scored around $1 million for a single post. Britney has around 42 million followers on social media, so she could make some serious bank, but for now it's a hard pass.
Easy work. It's so weird that we even think that they did a study of like what kids want to be when they grow up. All of them want to be influencers.
YouTube star.
YouTube stars, and because really, the thing is, it's going to be so saturated with people that it's going to dilute how much you're going to make, and then also too, you're going to get so much. Well, we already have too much stuff, unnecessary stuff.
Yeah, nobody's an audience anymore. Everybody wants to be a star.
That's a very good.
So, we're kind of oversaturated, as
We'll
you had mentioned.
figure that out for sure. Let's jump into a new segment. It's called Get Flashed. And in today's Get Flashed, folks at a high school in Kansas City, Missouri actually stand divided. Why? Because the crowning of their homecoming queen.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Tristan Young, he's a male student who identifies as a female, beat out 4 other girls at Oak Park High to be crowned homecoming queen. Now, a parent wants to remain anonymous, spoke out about this and said, quote, "I'm appalled by NKC schools' continued support of the LGBT agenda. NKC schools say that they are champions for all students. Having 2 homecoming queens that are boys is a disgrace to the NKC school community." Same thing has happened at the same high school back in 2015. A different boy, identified as a girl, snagged that title. And it's starting to become a very sensitive subject, but is there any kind of compromise in all of this?
Yes, you create a completely different category. If you're transgender, then you have a transgender homecoming queen. Why can't you do that? The same for sports. It's like, I don't know why men want to compete in women's sports as women. I know why some do, because there's an advantage,
there's an
clearly.
advantage over it.
But I think when it comes to these kids who truly have, gender identification issues, what's the harm in creating your own category for them?
I also think, though, and tell me what you think about this, Matt, is that they were voted by their peers. So apparently they didn't have an issue with it. You know what I'm saying? The student body obviously voted for for this person.
Did they, or do they feel the pressure to have to go
Possibly
along
so,
with
yeah.
the pressure?
That's what I think is there's a pressure element there because they're all of a sudden they're like, well, if they don't win, then it looks like all the kids hate, her. But if, she doesn't win, then the other girls are sitting there going, what did I do wrong out here? I just showed up, and because the kids are going to vote that way because of the way the trends are. Because if they didn't, then all of a sudden they go on a social media rant about
possibly
how
so.
this school hates LGBTQ kids.
Yeah,
That's what it would be.
exactly.
I was, this is no joke. They were all, and when I was in high school, they wanted to put my name on the homecoming. I'm not joking either. And they had a lot of people doing it, and then I go, I don't want to do this. Like, good, it'd be funny. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this. And
For some girls,
most likely to
it's their
succeed,
moment,
though,
you
right?
That
know?
is their moment, too,
It is
yeah.
their moment, so you're taking it another moment away from another group of women.
what do you think? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Flash at dailyflashshow.com. We got more stuff to talk about, more fun
Yeah.
too. Stick around. You're watching Daily Flash.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson. When it comes to tying the knot, Gen Z couples are ditching tradition and turning to TikTok for wedding ideas. Joining us to talk about this new trend is Insider senior retail reporter Jennifer Dawkins. Jennifer, welcome back.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Great to see you. So let me ask you this. What's driving this change in traditional wedding trends?
Yeah, I think a lot of younger people are just looking for something different with their weddings today. You know, they see the traditional wedding styles and are kind of bored with it. They want to have fun, they want to be creative, but they also have different values.
What are some of the styles that Gen Z is looking for when it comes to these new wedding ideas?
Yeah, well, they really want it to be customized, first of all, just customized to their personal style. Some of them are going a little less traditional, maybe more casual dresses, for example, or mixing and matching bridal parties. The dresses may be different colors or patterns even. We've seen some kind of floral dresses or mixing up colors to kind of pair with maybe their theme colors of their weddings. So they're doing lots of different things that are kind of just like tailored to their personal style, and they want to have fun with it.
So how is this changing the wedding industry? Because I assume with all of these different changes and these new trends, they've got to be changing the way they're selling weddings too.
Right. Traditionally, the wedding industry is pretty slow to change. You know, you see trends kind of changing maybe by season, but a lot of things come back year to year. And so now the wedding industry has to change a little bit faster. They have to be a little bit quicker to follow trends that might be happening in the fashion industry, for example, or tailoring, venues and decor to things that are happening on TikTok.
Yeah, it used to be that destination weddings were kind of a real stretch for most people, but that seems to be kind of the new, that seems to be an ongoing trend. What about traditional retailers when it comes to gowns, when it comes to booking travel, you name it? How is that changing?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, they have to just be a little bit more on top of their timing and making sure their supply chains are in place to act quickly on these different trends.
And let's talk about AI and creating a perfect wedding day. Everybody's talking about how AI can affect everything from school projects now to your wedding day.
Yeah, well, we're seeing some interesting trends popping up with, virtual try-on, for example. There aren't a lot of wedding brands doing this yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it starts to happen soon. We'll see, more ways to try on your dress virtually, whether that's a bridesmaid or maybe even a tuxedo for a guy. You'll be able to just try it on from the comfort of your home on the computer before you even get it shipped to you.
Jennifer, let me ask you this. I know that we've done stories here too when it comes to the father walking the bride down the aisle or exchanging vows. All of these things are kind of taking on a new life. What do you say to people who say, I don't need to ask the father for permission anymore. I don't need to wear a traditional wedding ring. What's your response and how do you see that changing the industry?
Yeah, I think it's really up to the couple and the people getting married. I mean, the fun thing is that a wedding should be all about you and your values and what's important to you. So if something is important to that couple, then, you can prioritize it. If it's not, if you feel like it doesn't really fit your personality or your values or the way that you want to kind of start this new phase of your life, then it should be totally up to you.
I'm not seeing as many of these TikTok dance videos from weddings anymore. Do you think we've seen the last of those, at least for a while?
Maybe for a while. We'll see. I mean, I think there's always something new popping up on TikTok. There will probably be another viral moment very soon.
My guess is once the pendulum swings one way, it ends up swinging back the other. So it may be non-traditional for a few years, but I see the traditional probably coming back before too long. Jennifer, thank you so much. Where can people find you?
Just go to insider.com and you'll see my byline where you can read all the stories that I've written recently.
Jennifer Dawkins from insider.com will also post this interview on our website. Jennifer, thank you so much. Matt, we're going to turn our attention to you now.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrea. Well, as everyone knows, getting back into the swing of fall routines and after-school activities, families are constantly on a search for convenient time-saving solutions. Chef Shinari Freeman joins us with her signature soul flavor to supercharge your next meal with some easy and nutritious ideas.
I am so excited to be here today with Ben's Original, celebrating the launch of Ben's Original 10 Medley. This is a blend of 10 different grains, vegetables, legumes, and herbs. Such a full circle moment. I grew up eating Ben's Original, so it's really fun and exciting to be here today for the launch of Ben's Original 10 Medley. So when we're thinking about like convenience and cutting back on cooking hours and just prepping for the week, the Ben's Original 10 Medley has 4 different flavors for you. So there's a Chinese style 5-spice, you have the Caribbean flavor, you also have the tomato and herbs flavor, and lastly you also have the smoky Southwest flavor. These cook in the microwave within about 90 seconds, or you can also do stovetop. Either way you decide to do it, this is going to be the final product of what it's looking like. Luckily enough, if you're looking for inspiration or somewhere to start with this product, we have a few different recipes already made and online for you. So this is our broccoli, our stir-fried broccoli using the Chinese style 5-spice. For a little bit of elevation, you can add in a little bit of protein, but it can also be a vegetable forward dish. We also have the smoky Southwest tacos here using the smoky Southwest flavor. Looking for a salad, we're doing that with the tomato and herbs flavor. This is a tomato cucumber salad. And then lastly, just to highlight the Caribbean flavor, we've made a wrap using curried chickpeas and a little bit of plantain. You can find all of these recipes and a little bit more online at bensoriginal.com.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I am Matt Doolittle, and welcome to this week's version of Doing It, where I'm going to do a deep dive into my opinions on some of the world's biggest stories in the world. And right now, well, I am a huge pro wrestling fan. Go figure. You can probably see that by the way I look. I like sweaty men slapping each other around a ring for 3 hours and hitting each other with heavy objects. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Well, we had one of the all-time greats come back to the people last week. That's right, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson made his triumphant return to the WWE for the first time in over 4 years last Friday on SmackDown. You can imagine my fiance and I were jumping around our apartment. Enjoy, this is Christmas morning we've been waiting for. This wasn't his only appearance though. He was also on Pat McAfee's show on ESPN that Friday. He was on College Game Day on Saturday morning on ESPN. He was all over Coach Prime's behind the scenes videos during the pregame for Colorado and all that stuff that was going on there. He also hooked up with some other wrestlers turned Hollywood stars, like John Cena at SmackDown. Now, you can tell I'm a giant Rock fan, so I'm not trying to say too many bad things. I buy all his stuff, I drink all his things. And he's got a bunch of free time now because of the SAG-AFTRA strike and the writer's strike that's going on in Hollywood. But a lot of people in the acting community aren't too happy with him. Much like Drew Barrymore for her last minute, pulling her show back to dark, and Bill Maher doing the same. The wrestlers have an opportunity to go on a weekly live entertainment show that goes on all over the world to get their message out. The WWE does have writers, but it's not a part of any union. They're seen as athletes competing in the ring, not actors. So, is this a form of scabbing or crossing the picket line? Cena, Johnson, and even rumors of having Dave Bautista come back all had movies in production at the time of the work stoppage, and with no sign of it coming back anytime soon, they're just finding a way around it to keep the money and their names out there. Of course it is. These guys aren't just actors, they're corporations that employ hundreds of people behind the scenes. The Rock has clothes, drinks, headphones. He lays the smackdown on quite a few products, and let's remember, he's a brand. The Rock hasn't had the best run with his last few projects. The Maui controversy, which he's addressed, and plus, remember Black Adam?
No, I don't
no,
want
no, it was horrible. Rock, if you got friends, they should tell you, not great. But the WWE is a place for him to spotlight, and it's his home, so we'll see if Hollywood will bring him back and all his monies and the people that go see his movies. I'm just saying, that's doing it.
Okay,
Doing it.
yeah,
All right,
do it. Who knew he was a huge rock fan? Now I know what to
Giant.
get him for Christmas.
I'm a rock fan too. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It takes all kinds, and that means it's all kinds of relationships.
Yes.
Joining us now is Fabian Marcano from Daily Flash. Talk a little bit about relationships. What do you got for us?
I'm actually checking out. This last week I was scrolling on Instagram, and for some reason I kept seeing all these romantic like couples pictures, and I thought, man, this is weird. Is Zuckerberg trying to tell me something? Eventually, I started to ask myself, are these couples displaying their happiness on these pages because they truly are happy, or could this just be a way of avoiding, like, showing their problems, right? And as soon as I did my research, I found this study that says the more you post your partner on social media, the less happy you are with them. Nowadays, social media, there are two types of people. Those who share everything about their relationships, and then those who prefer to live their intimacy in private, instead of shouting their love from the rooftops, right? According to this study, 45% of people that post are unhappy, 20% is happy, and 50% doesn't know. What is your take on this?
I think, people use social media to let nothing's real on social media at all. And I think when it comes down to relationships, I think it's the exact same thing. You will only show the good parts to the world.
And I feel like you're kind of not making it a private, intimate relationship anymore when you start posting.
100% agree with that.
Yeah, more people are gonna start looking into what you guys are doing, and they want to find more, right? You only gonna want to dig in a little bit more, ain't that right?
Well, 100%. And if you're in a relationship, any kind of it's not 100% bliss, glory, and anybody that says it, that's where the issues come in. So I could totally see that. I think what bothers me most is when couples share the Facebook account, and I'm like, something's going on there.
There's something really wrong there,
yeah.
And more often than not, it's those couples that post, oh my God, you're the love of my life, you're the dream, you've done everything for me. And then 2 weeks later, they've either split or they're involved in some sort of crime.
Now that's exactly what I'm saying. They might just be hiding the fact that they might not even, really feel that way about the person.
But don't you find that with social media too? Because the people who comment, I mean, it just boggles my mind the stuff people say on social media when it comes to comments, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. I just feel like there's no filter and there's no privacy. It's like, what's happened to decorum?
At this point, would you guys want to keep it private, or would you more rather?
Our relationship we keep private.
We do, we do. This is really as public as we get.
Yeah, this is about it, as you can see. No, I think you should. I think you should say, hey, if it's a birthday, a special case, and that kind of stuff, but maybe every once in a while.
Absolutely.
But I think if you're doing it too much, there's flags there.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
That's why I come to you guys.
Fabian,
Fabian
thank you.
Marcano, check him out on Daily Flash Latino. You can go to dailyflashlatino.com to find out more information for times as well as stations.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everybody. I am Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, your source for trending news and entertainment.
Every Friday, they're in their uniforms and they're on the 50-yard line under the lights. I'm talking about the band. We sometimes always forget about the band.
Yes, we do.
Right?
I
Marching
love
bands,
a good marching band.
Right? They actually go to a game that there's not a band. I'm telling you, it's a completely different vibe. Any band geeks in here? I think that they call themselves
they do.
band geeks.
Yep.
I was saxophone. I was. They didn't have enough chairs. I was so last in the chairs. but I played alto sax. Wasn't that great at it. Wasn't in the marching band. I was in the concert band. Anyway, there's a band that, football games, one band would sit on one side, the opposing team,
Sure.
and they kind of go
Band
back and forth.
wars.
Band wars, right? Well, in Minor, Alabama, the Minor high school was playing the Olin High School, and after the game was over, they kept on playing each other. Music and
Yeah.
stuff. Well, cop comes up and says, "Hey, look, man, we gotta shut this thing down. We gotta clean things up. You guys stop playing."
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "All right, we'll keep on playing, doing what we want to." Well, they go back to him. Cop comes up to him and says, "Hey, man, we told you guys gotta quit playing." And the band leader pushes the cop. Ends well so much that the police officer had his own instrument, which is a taser. The guy gets tasered, gets put in jail for disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and harassment as well.
The band teacher?
The band
leader teacher?
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
We
goodness.
just always call him band teacher.
Yeah.
Anyway, so everybody tells you that band, it doesn't need to be a football game, or they're not badass. That's a great story to tell you. that
Pretty
they're-
much, yeah.
Don't stop us in a band war. We're going to keep playing until
He took a taser for the
took a
team.
taser for the team.
Well, this is absolutely insane. A group of tourists in Yellowstone spotted exiting their cars and sprinting toward a mama bear and her two cubs. One of the tourists had a child in his arms. Thankfully, the mama bear and her cubs seemed to be startled by the mini mob and quickly ran away from the traffic. Tourists putting themselves into life-threatening situations to get close to the wildlife is now becoming a more common occurrence at Yellowstone and other big parks.
And you're stopping traffic there too. That's another issue.
What paper is that guy running with? He looks like a producer.
I
He
don't
probably wanted to collect. It looks like a plastic bag or something. I don't know.
Maybe. And here's the thing, if that bear had turned on that family, we'd be talking about them having to euthanize the bear.
Yeah,
Because she
sadly,
was
right.
protecting her cubs and doing what she naturally does.
Would y'all call that child endangerment? Would you think? First off, you're not supposed to get out of your car in the
No.
middle of a highway, no matter what.
No.
And then to do it with your kid on your arm.
And a mama bear and two
a mama
cubs.
bear- yeah, so there's got to be lots of charges. Nobody looked like it got charged for that,
No.
but they should. Let's go to Europe, where the wine flows like water.
Yes.
Check this out. A local winemaker unleashed 600,000 gallons of red wine into the streets of a
My
town of
goodness.
Portugal. It was a mistake. Wine flowed down a steep hill after two massive distillery tanks just burst open. The locals were baffled as they watched what looked like rivers of wine flowing through the streets, which is really what it was. They were told the amount of wine could have filled up an Olympic-sized swimming pool and a hell of a party, causing an environmental alert involving the nearby river. Good news, local fire department was able to block it off, divert the vino before it ended up in a wastewater treatment plant.
Oh, the hangover. I can feel it now.
Well, and wine stains too, so I bet you the streets actually look kind of cool looking, with the.
What if you had a white car?
Oh gosh, right? I think there was a car.
There
in the
was a
back
car
there.
parked, yeah.
We got a new paint job.
Yeah, pretty
Very
much. Well, okay, here's a PSA for guys. Scientists claim vaping may lower your sperm count. It could zap your swimmers, so to speak,
Okay.
and cause some shrinkage. Experts from Turkey tested what effect exposure to smoke from e-cigarettes and normal cigarettes had on the sexual health of lab rats. Nicotine has long been tied to infertility and disrupting sexual function. Experts agree more research needs to be done, doesn't it always?
Yeah, exactly.
Outside of the current study being done on rodents. Surprise, surprise.
You were telling me in Europe, they on their sides of the boxes.
Oh, on their sides of the boxes, they have the depiction of the tracheotomies,
the hole
the
for the cigarette.
fetuses. Oh,
Serious?
if you buy them behind the counter, not from the guy on the side trying to sell you a pack, yeah, they're nasty. I mean,
Oh
you just
my
don't want to buy them. Yeah, all over
gosh.
Europe, France, and the
Wow.
UK.
Maybe they need to do something like that. I'm starting to see more and more things like that.
Yeah.
You hear, and it's just because you don't see as many people smoking anymore.
That's true.
You're seeing more vaporing, but it's not good for you. You know that, right? Hey, we're gonna help your home with this lady, Jackson, right around the corner. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. Mitch English along with Andrea Jackson. Let's help out your home. Want
Okay,
to?
let's do it.
You always come up with these great ideas.
Okay, so we're gonna help you with a few cool, easy fixes, DIY fixes around the house. All thanks to our friends at FamilyHandyman.com. Here we go. Who has a wobbly table or chair
Who doesn't,
around
right?
the house? I see hands up everywhere,
oh,
right?
yeah, for sure.
Well, next time you have a bottle of wine, save the cork. Take the cork. The synthetic ones work best. Slice off a piece to secure a wobbly table leg. Just measure up the amount you need, mark it with a pen, and use a utility knife and a cutting board. Once you have the right size piece, use glue to hold it in place.
My suggestion to add on that is just go ahead and slice it up like a pepperoni, because you're going to go to a restaurant where you're going to get that
Have
table,
one in
keep
your
it in
hand.
your pocket. Right.
What about no-slip hangers?
I love them. I
Yeah.
have felt, whereas I felt
Yes.
on the side. That's all I can have. in
They're
my
the
house.
best.
Yeah.
Let's say you don't have one of those. Let's say you've got the plastic hangers in your closet. Well, you can wrap the edges with a couple of pipe cleaners. This will help secure any clothing that might have a tendency to slip off
Okay.
the hanger. It's a quick, easy fix. How about an extra extender for your vacuum? I love this. This
You
is
have to have one of these.
This
Corners, okay?
cheap and cheerful.
love
Check it
it.
out. Use leftover wrapping paper tubes or even a paper towel cardboard tube will work. Just add them to the end of your vacuum accessory to give you a few extra feet to reach those hard to get to spots. And once you're done, you can just throw it into the recycle bin.
And you're going to have a lot of those in December with
Yes,
wrapping paper.
yes.
And if you're not sure where you can get them, just go to the store and ask for a do-to-do. And don't because you're not a human being if you don't pick one of those up and
true.
put do-to-do in it.
How many times do you do that with a paper towel roll?
Paper at the end of it, it's pretty much once it's done. I love it.
Next, how about securing your kitchen cutting boards? Most don't come with any kind of backing to keep them from moving on
Right,
the
yeah.
countertop, right? So if you're looking for a quick fix, this isn't pretty, but it's quick. Try adding a couple of those large, thick rubber bands to either end. You just make sure the rubber bands lay flat when you attach them.
Buy broccoli. Go to they usually wrap it. That's your best.
That's a
we have tons of them.
perfect idea.
And you'll get them from there. They're large. They're thicker too.
Yes,
I've noticed
yeah,
that,
exactly. And here's a win for the garbage bin. If your trash bags don't fit right, place self-adhesive hooks on either side with the hooks facing down.
Okay. Winner, chicken dinner.
Right?
This is it, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Then attach the bag handles to the hooks to keep the trash bag in place.
How was I?
Viola.
Viola. And why don't they make trash bags with like that?
Ew, right?
And I would imagine those look great. You know how you use your shopping bag? They'll
Yes.
give you same deal. That's an
Perfect
excellent.
idea.
I love
I know,
that idea.
right?
I'm going to go home and do it in my office right now. I promise you.
I love it.
That's
I
a
love
great
it. I love
idea.
how I've inspired you. Well, I do love finding affordable DIY hacks on social media. Here's one from Jessica Lynn at home. She's got a great idea for making your plants really stand out.
Create these affordable tall planters from these $1.99 trash cans from IKEA. I picked up 4 of the black ones, and all I'm going to do is just flip one of them upside down, and then I'm going to put the other one on top of it. And to hold everything in place, I used some of this 2-part glue that I just got at the home improvement store, and I just placed it onto the bottom of the first planter and added the second planter on top. And then I did drill a hole in the center of each one of them so that way it would have some drainage. You could also add some screws to hold everything together. I love how these turned out. They are really nice tall planters and they were very affordable. I added some ferns to each one of mine and I love how they turned out. Follow me for more affordable DIYs on my YouTube, Jessica Lynn at Home.
There you go.
You know, I think a lot of times when you could find stuff where IKEA stuff is kind of the base of something.
Yes.
And then you can build on it, and it's so inexpensive.
Yeah.
Just putting it together is the hardest part because there's instructions, right?
You need to hire a professional for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to hear if you have any cool hacks. You can drop
Yes.
us either an email.
Or crafts,
Or
as our
crafts.
photographer Will
Will's letting us know.
defined. Yeah.
Because these are crafts, not
Not
hacks. Drop us an email, Mitch@dailyflashshow.com, or Andrea as well. We'll have more coming up right after this.
What is KSA Entertainment? It's trending news, entertainment, lifestyle, KSA Entertainment, culture, it's love, it's food, it's family, KSA, it's life, it's shopping, it's empowerment, KSA Entertainment, it's fitness, it's travel, KSA, it's fun, it's engaging, it's Daily Flash Latino, life, love, shopping. This is KSA Entertainment.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. It's time for us to jump into our Daily Flash Roundtable. We're talking about Grammy Award-winning gospel star Kirk Franklin. He's got a new documentary out. It's called Father's Day. Here's why.
The little boy Kirk needs to hear you. Are you saying that you reject the results of these 2 tests? That's what I need to hear.
Yes. My denial, is that going to put a wedge between you and I?
Yes.
All right, now this is a very pivotal moment in the documentary where Kirk Franklin's mom, after 2 DNA tests, lies about knowing who his father is. Turns out his dad just lived minutes away from him, and Kirk's mom never told either of them about each other. So what do you do when your own mom keeps you away from your father? I'm going to open it up to our roundtable. We've got, of course, Matt Doolittle, my co-host, Andrea Jackson, and we got in the back Mr. James Alexander, who brought this story to us. You kind of know the most about it, James. This is a guy that was denied knowing his father altogether. Is it more than that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. When you look at the documentary and you hear the struggles that Kirk Franklin went through and not having a father figure, and to learn that it wasn't just his mother, it was his aunt as well. They knew his father, who his father was, and that his father was only minutes away. He only lived minutes away. And it was devastating. I think both of them should go to jail.
So you feel it's a criminal offense? I mean, I would imagine she had her reasons behind it. I would imagine altogether, thinking that it would cause too much problems for her, or
I don't. You know what? See, this is where being a parent comes in.
Yeah.
It's not about you anymore. It's about that child.
That's a good point.
And to understand the mental health, especially of a black man, the mental health that he had to endure because of not knowing his father, and to learn that the people that claim that they love you lie to you. I mean, this is not a young guy. This is not like lied to you for a few years. The man is near his 50s. They've lied to you this entire time, and it's a criminal offense.
Do you think so? You should go to jail, Matt? I mean, for not telling?
I definitely think there needs to be some type of testing that goes on when the children are born. I think that there may have been reasons. He may have had a criminal past, or may have just been involved in some with some bad gangs or something. I think that would be a reason to maybe shield that side of it. But I think every child has a right to know who their parents are.
Yeah,
it goes down the line to, when you're getting married, do you have problems? Is there medical history there? I think that's important for everybody to know.
There is a big push to have dad's DNA tested when a child is born, which I think there's reason for that. But I think too, when you look at his age now versus growing up, it's one thing to say I want to protect you from somebody who I don't actually agree with until you're 18. But at the point where you're 18 and old enough, you should be able to have access to that information. I mean, I think she robbed both of those men of some kind of relationship.
Yeah, that's a great point on that. You always hear about it when they become celebrities. That's obviously what we're hearing about. But there's other celebrities who became very successful without having fathers in their lives. Like Adele is one. You got Mariah Carey. You have Sean Puffy Jones, Jodie Foster, Keanu Reeves, and I think Keanu Reeves actually comes out a lot. He talks about that.
Yeah, and Eminem. Obviously,
that's true,
his whole career he never had one, and didn't really like his mom either. But I think that they should open it up once you're 18, like you were saying. I think that's the right way to do it, and let each party make that decision. But it's just a weird situation. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin, how that would feel, and how that messes with you psychologically throughout your life.
I think, though, this also brings attention to a bigger problem within this country, and that is that we demonize fathers. I don't know what it is. I don't know why we do it, but it seems like there has been this ongoing trend where we're forcing single-parent homes, and, dads no longer exist, and I think that's a huge mistake. I think we should respect and honor those fathers, and we should at least present some sort of unity when it comes to family.
We would love to hear your thoughts on this. You can always drop any of us an email. Of course, you can also send it to all of us by dropping an email at flash@dailyflashshow.com. Should there be criminal charges for not telling a father that he's a father? Who should get it, and how much crime or how much time should they actually get if that seems to happen? That's our roundtable. We'll do it every week here. And of course, we'd love to hear what you want to talk about. You can also send your thoughts and comments, flash@dailyflashshow.com.
Well, the use of technology is vital for small businesses. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce has just released a new report on the impact of technology on small business. And joining us to talk about the findings is Jordan Crenshaw. He's the Senior Vice President of the Chamber's Technology Engagement Center.
Technology is a game changer in helping small businesses thrive and compete. Technology also, for example, is being used for marketing and promotion, processing sales, helping businesses reach consumers, and helping with things like accounting and payroll management. What we found in a recent report by the U.S. Chamber is that 95% of small businesses are already using technology, and a quarter of them are actually using artificial intelligence. What's important about this is that technology is helping small businesses get higher sales, hire more workers, and also increase profits. 78% have reported that technology platforms are helping them cope with things like inflation and not passing costs on to customers. So that's why it's so critical that we get good policies in place in Washington, D.C., a single risk-based AI framework, one single national privacy law, so it's easier for small businesses to compete and navigate a complex system. So if you want to learn more about our report, I encourage you to visit us at uschamber.com.
More trending news and entertainment headed your way, but let's check in now with our friends at The Daily Buzz right here on Daily Flash.
Travel's on the fall itinerary for 60% of Americans, and unconventional vacations are on trend.
For some adventure travel, head to the Southwest. It's the season where you will have less people at places like Sedona and also Moab. Arches or Canyonlands, those are two national parks that are really high on a lot of people's list. Fall is the time to do that. For a wellness getaway, I'm currently at the Conrad Fort Lauderdale Beach, and I got to do sunrise yoga on the beach with the sound of the waves on the sand. It's just fantastic.
Want to stamp your passport for an international adventure? Southeast Asia is the hotspot.
Hilton Honors Experiences has those kind of once-in-a-lifetime things that you might want to do. One thing that's on my short list, that is going to the Conrad Maldives, because they have the world's first undersea restaurant.
Get exclusive experiences and travel discounts by signing up for Hilton Honors.
Follow The Daily Buzz on social media.
All right, before we head into the weekend, we'd like to give you our picks for Stream for the Weekend. This is where we tell you about something you got to check out on your streaming services. We're going to start off with Maddie this time.
Yes, this is going to be my pick for the weekend. Is season 2 of the Max show about the 1980s Lakers. Winning Time, the rise of the Lakers dynasty.
Look, Irvin, you know why nobody repeats? Because the guys that you beat along the way, they spent all that time figuring out new ways to break you down.
Girls. They're sissy fans. Beat LA.
Season 2 of the series, which has confirmed to be the last right after the last episode of the season came out, shows the Lakers' ups and downs of the 80s. The second season is a bit slow going, which is why I think they got rid of it, but you get to see Pat Riley come take the reins. Adrian Brody does an amazing job portraying Riles. John C. Reilly is great as Dr. Jerry Buss, and it doesn't show Magic Johnson or Larry Bird in the greatest light.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Cool.
All right.
It is a fun show.
It is good. My pick for the weekend is Special Ops Lioness.
Mr. President, we have a situation unfolding in real time.
Are you close?
Closer than we've ever been. You up for playing outside the lines?
Ready to do my job, ma'am.
If your cover is blown, there is no saving you. You have to save yourself.
Do it quiet, and you do it clean.
Be careful poking that bear, or the target will be on you.
Nicole Kidman, Zoe Saldana, Morgan Freeman lead this amazing cast. From Taylor Sheridan, the creator of Yellowstone, comes an intense spy drama. All 8 episodes are available to binge right now on Paramount+.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan.
All right. It's time to get juiced up for this one. I love me a good documentary. I found one in Untold Hall of Shame. It's on Netflix.
You know, I was kind of a natural-born promoter. For me to actually enhance the performance of the athletes, I had to learn how to formulate supplements. So I created a whole line of mineral and trace element products and formulated ZMA. And that, I mean, it was like a rocket ship.
This documentary examines one of the sport's biggest steroid scandals with interviews with the head of Balco Lab, athletes suspected of using performance-enhancing drugs, and so much more. Let you know a little bit how things have changed.
All good stuff.
It was a nuts time in sports.
Should have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Love checking that out. We want to thank you for spending time with us.
Absolutely. For more information, head to our website, dailyflashshow.com. Be good, everybody.
We'll see you when we look at you. Bye-bye.